Good evening. You're listening live to the Xtreme Movie Show, Kicking It. I'm your host, Rob, broadcasting to you from the Indian Hill Studios in the Pinos Palace, just west of Orlando, Florida. And I've got here on the sat feed, let me tune in. It's a rainy, windy day here in Central Florida. A lot of gunshots out here in Pine Hills in the hood. This is Great Tiger looking for RDV. Great Tiger RDV, come in. Are you there, bro?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, because we get a lot of that in this movie, which is going to be an interesting one. In the Line of Duty 4, or Yes, Madam 4, from 1989, starring a very young, one of his earlier movies, Donnie Yen, and of course Michelle Khan is in it too.
In a Line of Duty 4, also known as Witness.
There you go. We will witness many things going on here. So, Doctor, I will start off by giving you my initial impressions and ask for yours, like we normally do as people stroll in here. I have not seen a lot of early Donnie Yen films, and I know on our Asian cinema tour that we've been conducting, monthly at least, that we've been doing the Girls with Guns films. And so this is kind of like one of them, kind of, sort of, but it's only got one. But I got to say this about this film. If you're a Donnie fanboy, this is your film. This movie portrays Donnie Yen in a lot of really acrobatic stunts, a lot of great fighting scenes. There's just a lot of really staged great stuff in here that I think Mortal Kombat repped off, because I got to tell you, Doctor, the set pieces were great. The action's fantastic. There's a lot of them, but I will say this. There's a middle part that I'm starting to know seems to be the template some of these Hong Kong Asian cinema type martial arts films of the new period. However, to me, this movie is devoid of the humor of, like, say, a Sammo Hung type film or Jackie Chan, which I know you've talked about being a fan of. But overall, I think it's a good film with great actions and some really nice scenes and some interesting characters. It's totally watchable. You can check your brain. You don't really have to follow anything. And frankly, there's a lot of American crossover in it too, which makes it interesting. But overall, I think it's a really solid flick. If you're looking just for what we're talking about, some solid action, it's the type of film to go see. What do you think?
Well, this is a movie when I was watching it, I did not realize that it began in Seattle. I thought
yes.
So I was confused at first because we were introduced to the main character. Well, he's not really supposed to be the main character, but he's the guy that everybody's after. He's the one that ends up witnessing a murder of a detective. But yeah, I did not. That was a little confusing for me because it was on the docks. I'm like, they didn't. I didn't know. I'm like, is this Chinese docks? Is it Hong Kong docks? What is this? Oh, it's the Seattle docks, but there's no way to tell because they didn't show any skyline or nothing.
Well, they showed the Space Needle at some point early on, but unless you knew what that was, you wouldn't know. You know what I mean?
I knew there's a Space Needle in Seattle, but like with Hong Kong and all that stuff, I don't know. There's a lot of buildings that they copy from us or make their own. So
yeah. But if you look closely at the window as they're doing it, at least on the print version I've got, you can see Kolchak, the Night Strangler, looking out, watching these fights. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, with his little camera there and the flash bulb and everything.
But yeah, the action starts up pretty quick, doesn't it?
It does. And actually, I thought it was pretty good. I thought I liked the character of Luc Wan-Ting. He's pretty much would have been your Jackie Chan if Jackie Chan would have been in this film. He's the guy that witnesses something, and he's just there, just making money. He's keeping his head down,
American Dream.
What I liked about this is Cynthia Khan. If I watched the previous movie, she does those things where she does those little tumble or flips and doesn't make a sound. I'm thinking like, and first of all, that takes talent. And I'm thinking like, well, when she jumps on the dock, when she jumps from onto the shipping container and stuff, that would have made noise. I don't care who you are.
Oh, I'm sure it's edited, but you bring up a good point. It almost seems like it's the beginning of parkour.
Yeah, it is. Well, and they did that in another movie too, where I love that with Jackie Chan, where these guys, they run and they jump these small little tiny little holes, little squares. They're like, how the hell did you do that without like stopping and then crawling through?
Yeah.
So I can only imagine how much bruised images and the scars, cuts these people have, just jumping through these little holes or just running around, landing on things you're not supposed to. But yeah, you can tell it's a D&B film group. Not just because you see the logo in the beginning, but just the stunts, what they do in here, the action scenes, this overall story. But yeah, but getting back to Donnie Yen's in this. This is the introduction of Donnie Yen to the series. Cynthia Khan took over the role of Madam Yeung from Michelle Yeoh. So so beat Donnie Yen in here. Donnie Yen is this. He's a cop from Seattle. Yes. He was partner Peter Woods. Forgot who.
Not confused with Peter North, who
No.
was also popular at the time.
They trail a group of basically drug smugglers. They're smuggling drugs into putting over Hong Kong.
What did you make of that? They're sitting there following these obviously rich-looking guys in suits who go. They're in the Mall of Port area there in Seattle. That's a nice-looking place. Everyone's shopping, and they go like in the back of it looks like a coffee store, or tea store, or something like that. And the guy, of course, is checking the cocaine out or whatever it is. And of course, typically you do that in the bathroom. But the rich guys, they don't have to. They can flaunt, their powerfulness. So we know they're the evil boss lords or somehow related to it. And it's like they're just if they had just didn't mess with them, they would have avoided a lot of torture scenes and death, and we wouldn't have a movie. But
it was kind of intense, as far as like, okay, now he's his buddies over there. As soon as I knew his buddies, like, first of all, you should have called backup. The fact the guy's hiding on top of the shipping crate while the drug deal's going on. They both are hiding on here. I just got this stub nose 45. What is that going to do, sir? Nothing. so I knew, I'm like, well, apparently he's just going to die, and then it's just going to be a revenge story. And then you see Donnie Yen trailing, which could have been basically Seth Rogen. That's what it reminded me of. This guy, he's there to, hey, I'm the American hotshot and a drug dealer here. I'll be able to contact, so Donnie Yen follows this guy, and I'll get these split up. One guy goes to the warehouse. Donnie Yen goes to chase this other guy. Follows this guy, goes to a restaurant, sits down. Donnie Yen, just sits down and orders up, and then all of a sudden here comes his friend. Who don't want to give spoilers away who he is, but his friend comes sits down in front of him, and he's just like, "Hey, what's up?" He's like, "What's going on?" He's like, and he perfectly sits in his way. I'm thinking like, okay, either this guy's an idiot, or he's, or he's
on the take.
Yeah. But I don't know if at this point in the movie, you don't know if he's on a take or not, or he's just an idiot, and he's just there to be like, "Hey, what's going on, buddy?" I'm like, dude, I'm trying to watch this guy over here. He's he's like, and what's funny is the guy says, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're on the job. My bad." And he stands up, and the guy's gone. And so I'm like, either it's really highly convenient that the guy did it, or he's on the take. So it's
poor movie making.
Yes, yeah. I'm sorry you're pleased, sir. Well,
no, because I mean the movie. Here's the whole point. We've covered, like I say, a couple different types of these Asian action films, and they're pretty interesting how they are different now. We're starting to see some different trends, and they have a nice little, like you say, follow chase scene here, and then they have a little action sequence. You see her tumbling, you get introduced to the comic character, and they have a little bit of a fight, and it's kind of, the guy's kind of silly, but I thought he was pretty interesting, and she, was solid in it.
I'm glad because dude, the last one in the Land of Duty 3.
Yeah.
Cynthia Khan hardly got any fighting whatsoever in the movie. She just made her basically.
Well, she's wearing those magical late '80s acid wash pattern sort of jeans and the linebacker, fake members only jacket that makes her look 14 feet wide.
Hey, a nice jacket.
Well,
I'm gonna get forward the official ones, okay?
Well, the thing is they've got some great stuff in there early on, and it's creative, and you're like, oh, okay. And even like when they're fighting with there's a scene where they're fighting on the Luke guy is fighting on the stairs in the place where he's staying, and she's just sitting in the back watching, and he's taking on like these 6'8" drug dealer type guys, these meatheads, and the metals are hitting each other, and they're sparking up, and it's pretty cheesy effect, but I thought that was kind of neat and cool.
Well,
but then when they're doing a chase thing, it's an excuse for them to sit there and say, okay, now Donnie Yen gets to go kick a little ass, which is a smart move to do.
Like I said, the guy is like, I love about the guy is he's obviously talented. Looking at him, you're like, oh, like wait, and you see him start doing the fight scene in the little warehouse where he where he lives, sleeps and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just sitting there watching it. And I was like, at first, because well, at first she was pretending to be, not be a cop because she's hiding out from the actual drug dealers there. So she pretended to be someone who just came off the shore, needs a card, and so that's which conveniently for him because he actually just got his his identification card. Even so him and his buddy,
yep.
They've been there by working. So so finally proves that it's a fake. It's a fake. I guess it's not real. I think it's fake. I don't think it was actual legit. I think because they bought it, but they're able to sell it.
But what's disappointing about this scene, in all honesty, was that I thought this was supposed to be an overly elaborate seduction scene, and these two would hook up later, and they didn't. So I was crushed at the end. That's a spoiler alert.
Oh, that's okay though. Didn't really need that though. But so
Donnie Yen's the pretty boy, so I thought he was going to hook up with her.
Well, definitely, definitely. So it shoots till later, it's like a couple after all this scene. I think it's like a day or two later. He's on the docks again. He happens to be out there, moves up, and he comes across and he sees like this guy running around. He's like, "Here, take this microphone." Basically, Donnie Yen's partner got shot like an idiot, like I knew he was going to. Then keels over and he's like, "Here, take this microphone. Get it to the police." And then he's like, "What?" So he puts his little his little ashbagash pocket, his little jumper that he's wearing. I'm like, man, 80s, man. Guys should not be wearing the jumpers.
Well, no, what 1989 hit the 80s fashion died, and it didn't come back.
And it was cords, wasn't it?
No, corduroys were cool, but the stuff they're wearing in here is not too cool, if you know what I'm saying.
I thought that's okay. So anyway, the whole thing is they think he's in the microphone. They start attacking him, he ends up shooting some of the guys. And then the cops show up, and he's sitting there trying to help the guy who's bleeding. They leave. The cops are like, "What's going on?" It's like, and he's holding the gun. He's like, "All right, I didn't kill it. I didn't do it." And he's in there. He's like, it's freaking out because dude just finally got done with getting his proper ID, citizenship, and all that stuff. And here it's all gonna get screwed up because some asshole in the suit. It's like, "Here's a microphone," and he because he's holding the gun.
Well, I'm not like I say, not going to lie to kind of talk about how I was hoping Luke and her were going to hook up or something like that. And I thought, they'll just draw this out because when he gets arrested, he loses the film that he had and doesn't know where. It's not microfilm, but it's still film, which is cool. Yeah. But she's there with Donnie Yen on the arrest, and Donnie Yen. Here's the thing about Donnie. He's a fit-looking guy. He's not ugly. He's more pretty to me, but more in a boyish way, and not in the smiling way like a JCVD. This is more of the scowl kind of guy that got his feelings hurt or something like that. Like the 9th grade girl rejected him, at the 9th grade dance or something. I don't know, but it's not a bad look. But I'm going, damn it, he should be a heavy. He should be a sneering bad guy instead of a good guy. And then here, to your point, he's pissed off because his partner got whacked. Why? Because his partner's stupid, and partners last in these movies. But I thought, okay, they could make this like a soap opera with a lot of martial arts in there, and these two hook up, and it'd be like a love triangle thing. And of course, we didn't get that.
Donnie Yen and Luck.
Well, her and the guy. No, Luck.
No, but Donnie Yen, his character, he is a hothead in this character. And I almost thought he was on a take, the way he was acting and everything. And I love that the fact they did that, because obviously they did it on purpose for writing wise, because you don't know who's on a take, who's corrupt or what.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's beating up the guy, and Luck's getting beat up in the interrogation room, and he comes in. He's like, "What are you doing?" He's a suspect, and I love how she says he's innocent until guilty. And now this is also with police brutality. Like, people say like, "Oh, I don't like police. They're corrupt and all that stuff." So this plays into that well too. But that's what's going on. So we don't know if he's just a bad cop, or if he's just an asshole, or what.
I was getting the a-hole vibe because exactly. And then this is Donnie Yen, and I don't know how much of it's him. I don't know how much it's the writing or the way that the director told him to, just go for it, chew up the scenery times 10, because he goes so over the top on this guy about almost, threatening him and stuff, and he leaves, and he says to the cop coming in, he's not talking, but he will or something. And so then the cop comes in, he's got the baton, and it beats the shit out of Luck. Luck is a goofy guy, but he's charming enough with her where he's not a simp, and he can fight. And to your point, he's living in a little warehouse area. He's offering to give her money, thinking she's an illegal immigrant, so he's a bit naive. And here he is getting the shit kicked out of him until he beats up the dude and then, dresses up and escapes. I'm like, this guy to me was the most intriguing character out of everybody in this.
He was. Yes. And I like the fact, he's like the cop's beating with the cop obviously is there. He's like, where's the film? And it's like, now we know this cop is on the take now as far as that, because so he's like, and he starts saying, he's like, give me the film where I'm gonna beat you beat you. So he's like, dude, if you keep hitting me, I'm gonna fight back. And he's like, oh, I'm like, great. I'm like, oh, is this person? I'm like, what is he, a wimp? What is he saying there? And then he just kicks the crap out of that corrupt police officer. And he said he takes his clothes, he walks out. They're so freaking baggy on him that nobody notices. It's like a little kid wearing his dad's uniform. They're good guys. But no, it was actually LK said he told me when I was watching. So he said he watched this movie. He liked the action scenes in this, and it was true. The action scenes in this movie are better than the plot. But I do love the scene that's coming up. When he goes visit his friend, and his friend's like, it's like, dude, I need to get out of town. He's like, well, here's $3,000. Like, his buddy Ming is the one that caused him to get the gambling problem. He's the one that caused him all the issues before, and these dudes show up in masks, obviously there, Ming being a true bro here. Minimum of silence for Ming, man, because that guy was a true bro. He sacrificed his own life to let his buddy live. And we get a little pursuit chase scene there, and then eventually he's running down. You see Luke running downstairs. Here comes the cops, Cynthia Khan, and Donnie Yen. So he gets a quick run up. We get another chase scene between him and Donnie Yen. Eventually, they handcuff him. He's crying. This is where it kind of got annoying for me. He's crying because he's innocent. He's like, I just want to see my mom, before I leave, because he gets given up hope, that he doesn't know if he's gonna die or what. So he's Donnie and Donnie Yen's like, shut up, you're or no, actually, Donnie wasn't with them. It was some other guy. He's like, dude, shut up. Show proper respect. You be a man, So she gives in, takes him to see his mom, but they have to wear handcuffs. Or no, she takes the handcuffs off. They go in there, but as soon as they get in there, Donnie Yen's in there. He's like, hey, how's it going? He's like, what the hell's going on? It's an asshole cop. Donnie Yen slaps handcuffs on him, so they did a little dance, and I could see that's where you thought they were gonna have chemistry right there, because the mom thinks, oh, you're engaged. We'd really love. And at that point, I thought she would have had her own keys to the handcuffs, because I thought they're universal.
Right. Well, the thing too is for those that care about the plot, even though really we don't, it's really the action scenes we like. There is a nice little point where Donnie Yen early on, been with the Seattle backdrop and all that too on the docks, he does this little kick, where he, spins backwards, and so I wouldn't call it a spinning heel kick because he uses both legs, but it's like a double kick in the air. One leg goes to one guy, one goes to the other. It's pretty sweet. And then he has this one where he kicks straight up and with his leg up to his face and then straight down on somebody. So there's some really cool individual moves they have, which I noticed they repeated in the end action sequences at the beginning. And up to this point, you're going, okay, but then they switch things up. There's no ninja in here, but there's a great chase sequence, what you were talking about with Yen, where he's chasing Luck, and then they have their little fight, and then Luck basically looks like he falls over the side of the building, but it's really just the next building, and he's chasing them, and then he gets away, and there's some really great jumping in here where whoever's doing it stunt wise, it's really cool looking. And to your point about tumbling, if you throw in a few tumbling things, whether it's climbing, whether it's jumping from building to building, or stair work or windows, I always love that kind of stuff as like a pause or break or just a little trailing add-on to like an action scene, because it does slow things down or speed things up or whatever, and it's great because in this film, you get so much of it, but we get into this area in about the middle of the movie where, to me, it kind of really slows down. You get some of this plot. You get Donnie Yen acting like somebody spilled coffee over his really bad Jack. He's just pissy. And, I don't know if he's just trying too hard, but I'm just not buying what he's selling. She seems so much more, relaxed in her role and confident. She gets a ton of stuff in there. That being said, Donnie Yen's kicks in this stuff's really great because you get to a point where, a little bit after what you're talking about, the chicks that we see in here, I call it the blonde fight, because you got the girl with the really bad curly blonde hair and her fighting, and they make use of, instead of fighting outside with a nice backdrop, they're like in it's like a stairwell, and there's some killer stunts in here. The blonde takes this dive over, which you always get in Hong Kong cinema, and she lands, and you see it in slow motion, but if you watch it carefully, you can see, I think it's the way she's going down, it's her left arm just hits the edge of the thing as she lands, and the stuntman, I'm like, well, she did great, but then she ends up basically falling down the shaft there, and I'm like, this is kind of this movie has some dark scenes in here that I call it the torture scene, where he beats the shit out of Luke, and then this girl gets her ass beat pretty bad. It's no fluffy stuff where they're screaming and hollering. It's pretty brutal, which I actually kind of like, I mean, so it's not a ha-ha kind of movie,
Well, yeah, definitely.
Okay, saying that the lead actress is by far the best performer and actor in the movie, without question. Okay, I said that right before you showed up. I agree with you totally in that too. Except the only argument, which I'm going to ask you about, RDV here, and I know LK's watch it, so maybe have some comments. The most bizarre scene that kind of threw me off, maybe, to go, what the hell, is when Donnie Yen's, he's winged or whatever, and it's at night, and he's on this like light pole, and his blood drips down on the guy that's chasing him on a motorcycle, and the dude stopped, and he's got these really, really bad sniper / skier goggles on, and his jacket, it's like 2 sizes too big, but this guy's really big, and of course, I'm talking about John Salviti, for those that care. He's American in here, because when he goes to fight, there's a lot of Bruce Lee kind of rip-off, kind of stuff or whatever, and they have a really good fight. And this guy looks like a nobody. He looks like somebody they just threw into the film as like a CIA op guy. But he is really good in this fight. And I got to say, this is pretty good, that even though Donnie looks spectacular when he's fighting, he doesn't look like he's totally dominating the guy like he would in, say, the Ip Man movies. I mean, this is a pretty good fight, too, before there's other more great martial arts stuff in here. So, to me, that was a bit of a bright spot. What do you think?
I thought, like I said, the Sunset movie was actually really great. Especially when you get towards the action scenes towards the very end, even in the middle. Yes, the whole the dirt bike scene where the guys, they're just chasing after him.
Yeah, this dirt bike thing, like in these alleyways. You were talking about that.
That was a fun scene with Donnie Yen. I said, when Donnie Yen wasn't talking, when he was actually just fighting, that's when I liked him in this movie.
That's what I want.
That's it was talking or
Don't
fighting.
talk, Donnie. Just fight, please. No, that's not a knock on Donnie.
The only knock on Donnie I'll give you this was that last fight scene on the rooftop with him and that guy.
Well, the dirt bike scene, like you say, is pretty good because they're both on dirt bikes in a really narrow area, and so you get a really great scene in there where the one guy who's in the lead, the bad guy, he turns around because I think one of them's got a sledgehammer, the Triple H sledgehammer, and the other guy's got an axe or a stick or something, and they're kind of hitting each other. It's like, this is pretty cool. And then when they add a little bit of creativity to something that's routine, something like this, I hate to say routine, but we've seen stuff like this before. They're kind of against each other, and he's kind of forcing the guy into the wall. But he takes his hands, put on the guy's helmet, so while they're moving, in this really narrow alleyway with a lot of trash and obstacles, the dude's helmet is scraping off the sidewall. I'm like, that's pretty badass. That's pretty darn cool. Like, and I like these little touches.
Well, definitely, yeah. Whenever you bring a dirt bike into a scene, and normally you don't see that unless it's like they're chasing after that, and then the person like crashes, and that's it, and then they fight, do martial arts. But this was actually like, we're gonna do like jousting almost.
Yeah, they were.
He's asking him if this was Donnie Yen's early in his career. He'd done a couple of movies before this. He did at least a TV series. Thing they also did.
It's like his third or fourth, fifth movie, something like that.
Yeah, because he played a couple of different roles before this, but this was like his big breakout. Because once you got the DMB cast, and one of those movies on, that's when it's knew you're gonna pull up. Because after this, he started doing some more stuff. He did Tiger Cage 2. He did some other Holy Virgin versus the Evil Dead. Another great movie I haven't seen yet. Once Time in China too. So like I said, I think his next big hit was like Iron Monkey. I can't really verify that. So maybe okay. I don't know if you're a huge Donnie Yen fan. I've only seen a couple movies with him. I was more into Jackie Chan stuff, Chuck Norris. Not so much Jet Li. I felt Jet Li was like the serious version of like Jackie Chan, and like Charlie trying to be like the next Bruce Lee. I didn't care for him. But anyway, getting back to the movie, this actually was it was entertaining. Like I said, the dirt bike scene here, just the scene where he's carrying the mannequin. Just randomly finds a mannequin in the garbage, dressed up in a coat, and because they're trying to get Luke. Luck could have been shot, and they're trying to get him. He's in the chest, get him to the hospital. So so Johnny's like, I'll be a distraction. You get him to the hospital. So he's carrying him up steps, and he's running up, climbing up the other little walkway. Here comes the guy. I was like, yeah. Is this John Salvini, the one that's on the dirt bike this time? With the or is this? Actually, this might be.
He was the crazy white dude with. I don't know if it was. I don't remember if it was a turtleneck, so I don't think it was. But he had the.
What is it? It might have been. It might have been Charles Woods.
Yeah,
guy.
I think it's Woods, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't think it's the same dude.
No. So yeah. So
because the bad guys are the CIA guys. They went from Seattle to Hong Kong.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Michael
them.
Woods is the other guy. Is a CIA agent, and John Savini there. So anyway, Michael Woods, I believe, is the one that's on the dirt bike at this time. And he's running up the steps, and here comes Michael Woods on the dirt bike, just driving up the steps. He's like trying to be, I'm cool, I'm going to use a dirt bike to go around up steps. I'm like, dude, really? And what's funny is he's chasing Donnie Yen, hides on top of the streetlight. I've never seen that before. I'm like, this is some Spider-Man stuff here. What's going on?
Yeah.
Is he? And then so... First of all, I'm like, how the hell did he even get up there? So then you see him the guy drives away. He's like, oh, where did he go? Oh, I'll drive away. So Donnie Yen hangs down, drops down, and all of a sudden here comes the guy. He's like, oh, crap! He goes up again. The guy's like, I don't know where he went. And Donnie Yen just jumps down like a spider monkey on him. And he goes, wah!
Well, it's completely coked out of his mind because
Which one?
He's acting. Yes. Excuse me. No, because it's a good fight. And here's the thing with Donnie. Like a lot of Asians, not a particularly physically big guy. He's got a nice physique. He's kept it up, and he's in his mid-50s now. He's got a really attractive-looking physique. Certainly not as big as JCVD, but probably about maybe an inch shorter, maybe 5'8" or so, 5'7". And of course, he's older, so he's playing more of those roles, which I do like him in there. But in here, some of the people that he's fighting seem physically so much more imposing. And this crazy guy, the John Salvini, this dude's is like Hulk, gonna crush, typical dude, because it's like, holy shit, he gets off the bike and they start fighting and his eyes are big, and I'm like, okay, that's the guy you want as your bouncer, if whatever. But typical dumb, meathead American guy gonna get his ass kicked by an Asian who's half his size.
I gotta say though, after watching Ip Man, Ip Man's a different character where he's more serious, more older. I prefer this Donnie Yen. I don't know what he like in his other movies. We'll have to watch some more, but
he's got to play a dick.
I like this younger, Donnie Yen, where he's kind of hot-headed. He's going to do what he wants to do. If it's a movie where he's just doing it by himself and he's just kind of like the thug, maybe tone down a little bit on the ashalness or make him a villain. I don't think he's out. If he's LK, you've probably seen a lot of his movie. Has he ever been a villain in these movies, really? Other than what Disney's Blonde that came out, I think he's a villain in that too. I'm not sure. If they ask Ingleton and people who actually sat through that and didn't sleep. No. I thought we should watch some more Donnie Yen movies because
I'm sure we will. Yeah.
Because in this, he comes off as a douche, and he's a douche with a badge and a gun. But for good, I mean, I would love to see more stuff with him. But getting back to the movie, Cynthia Khan and I in Line of Duty 3, which you still haven't seen yet, you know, but LK, maybe you've seen it too, but it was kind of it wasn't really like this. It was kind of at first it was kind of slow pace until and she had to protect another person, yes, in that movie too. But there's just two like group of like there's two assassins, Hong Kong or Chinese assassins for the you know the red communists, you know, they wanted, you know, and they hunted down, and she was kind of like, you know, didn't really fight back. This movie is like that they just
this movie she brings it.
Yeah, this movie they gave her like an actual good like character, because before she was just in the other movie she was just starting off. She was, you know, on the police force and all, so she was like a noob. And this is like, wait, what? So like, yeah, these movies are apparently loosely connected, you know, but they don't really connect as much, other than that they're the same company. So, but I was happy to see in this one because I was like, oh, this is gonna be another snore. We got Donnie Yen to be an asshole. We got we couldn't get Jackie Chan for this movie, so we got some other guy, and then it was like I was surprised how like that she actually, when she fights, she fights.
It's not pretty.
And oh my gosh, and you know, we get to the scene where like they finally find out that the bad guy. We don't know if we want to skip the hospital scene, but we can just say the hospital scene though.
Yeah, whatever. Because you're right. Really, the final fight's what people know about this film. And all I'll say is, you know, I'll let you go first, is that what I really do like about this film, I mean, we can say that action scenes are great and the backdrops too. They're fighting while, you know, it's, you know, it looks like it's getting ready to storm on the outside wherever they filmed it, you know, whether it's Vancouver or whether it's actual Hong Kong. I don't know. Don't really care. But the movie, like My Lucky Stars, which is what we'd covered a week or so ago, Sammy Hung and Chan, what we mentioned in there, I think is definitely applies here. And I think it's, I don't want to say brilliant because it's pretty obvious, yet a lot of people still don't do this in film even today with action films. You got to have a great opening gambit. James Bond was known for, you know, always having that. And then you got to have a really spectacular ending because, you know, stuff in the middle people will, you know, hit or miss or remember. And I think this ending fight's really the best fight here too. Everybody gets extended amounts of time. There's not a lot of
it's the last 15 minutes movie. Scene. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's not, and that's not where they're doing like, we're going to do more than this. It's like, the first 10 minutes of this movie, same thing. And it's like, okay, well, what's with this doing this? Like, they only afford so much though? Because I'm thinking like, they should have been a little more, but maybe they're just holding off because, you know, like, well, we're saving our money for the Jackie Chan movies. I don't know. But this was actually the last 15 minutes of this movie was Cynthia Khan fighting. Even Donnie Yen was fighting against people here. And we get Luck even showing off his skills.
Yes.
They kidnapped Luck's mom. What a dick move. And they get her and on top of this, they're like, let's go super evil Chinese douche. She's hanging from a rope from a building, suspended, and he goes to grab her. The wire is electrocuted, so he couldn't get her down. He's like, ah. So we get the.
It's just totally unnecessary.
I know. The electronic cage window. Okay, that was just so weird. I've never seen it like that before. That was just like, may as well just put her inside a dog cage, kennel, and just like, you know, because I was good. Anyway, getting back to the fight scenes, we got Pretty Boy.
They should have put her in the den with all those Komodo dragons, like in Skyfall, to see if she could escape the grandmother. That would have made it really kick ass, but we just get kind of a scene that's kind of right. Final fights.
The final fight, though, let's see. We got Pretty Boy, Captain, the one that the one that betrayed Donnie Yen. I think he's played by I can't remember what his name is in this movie, but I think it's Chow, or what his name is.
I don't know.
Let's go with, I don't know. We'll just say that okay, Michael, that's what his name is. Michael is a guy. He's a Hong Kong guy assigned to the case. The one I was working with, overseeing Madam Yeung and his friend Donnie Johnny
The
Chen.
Americans
Yeah. Yeah.
double crossed the Chinese.
Yes.
Ha ha ha. Yeah,
Yeah.
those commies bastards, like they're doing in movies now, owning our NFL and NBA. They were planting seeds back then, ladies and gentlemen. It's just obvious because of the final scene. But
But anyway, yeah, she runs across. It's funny. It's like she runs across because I love it. As she gets like we have the cassette tape and like obviously it was destroyed because that's because the dude got shot in the tape player. That's how he survived. But the tape was destroyed. He was recording so because the guy had shot Donnie Yen before, who was on there, who was wired. It was wired with the Walkman, recording everything. I was like,
yep.
Oh my gosh! So that tape magically stopped the bullet. So they don't know that this guy thinks that this guy because the guy confessed all his evil plans to try to recruit Donnie Yen. So he thinks that what they have. He's like, well, oh crap! So they're gonna trade the tape for what's his name, his life, for what's his name, leave him alone, or his mother. And the guy says like, "Oh, mother," and then he sees her hanging there and like just get the electric cage fence. And so then he's like, well, and they're like, well, he's like, well, since you gave me the tape now, it's like you guys are killing because it's inadmissible, it's all hearsay, whatever. And they're like, think again, it's a plastic bomb. It's like I'll blow us up, we'll kill us. I'm like, no, you're not going to. But yeah, the whole fight scene there, you get Michael. Michael starts out. She kicks him in the face, or on face, but she does her little roundhouse kick stuff, and then we get the Thug in Blue. They break up the dance partner.
Blue Thug, yes. Well, this dude's built well. He's obviously noticeably bigger. You can definitely see the size difference between them. That's not something they try to hide or film one way, and just do all these fancy, backdrop effects or whatever. No, they're going at it really good. It's very well choreographed. There's some long shots in there. It looks like one takes, very minimal editing. And then, of course, you get a lot of the stunts with her, too. Her doing like the double kick stuff because she does some of the kicks that Donnie's done. So she had the straight up, straight down one and a few others. And I don't necessarily mind that, but I went, whoever's doing it saying, let me give this move set some of them and let me, flip them with the characters. And it works great because she pulls them off real well. She looks so good. Oh, and all that. Whereas, the movie before I was like, she looks all right, good doing it. But here she really sells it.
Yeah. Her versus, they break up in the pairs. She gets the guy in the blue. So he's I can't tell if he's American or he's from
American bad guy from the CIA, I guess.
Yeah. So they're fighting, So I love it when those two are fighting. When you have I was gonna say Michelle Yeoh, but no, Cynthia Khan and this guy. She takes some hits and she stumbles a bit. She's even hanging out the balcony, and I love it because it's actually like believable. Because here's a little girl going up against a guy who basically could gets a couple whacks and he could really do some damage.
Yeah.
And so they made it believable. It wasn't like I'm a tough girl and you can't defeat me and stuff. No, when she starts doing these speed kicks, these are not. Remember, these are not sped up. This is where the martial arts just comes out. It's like, dude, Cynthia Khan can actually kick butt, and it's not and there's no stunt doubles. And this would in Hollywood, you would have had the pretty girl with a stunt double. No, this is the pretty girl actually doing her moves. And I think over the time, because she actually, I can't remember if she was a model before she started getting the acting, but the choreography and stuff, she picked it up pretty well. And so, and she's Taiwanese. She's so she's not from the area where the rest of them are from. So no, but yeah, I love she gets some quick roundhouse kicks on this guy and stuff, and just kicks his leg, trips him and stuff. And he punches her a couple times too, knocks her sideways, or she's like, "Oh crap! I thought she's down for the count." She's a little phased, stunned.
Yeah.
But then we now what I like about this is we get 3 fights going at once. So obviously she's got the best fight going on. Then we go to look and the crazy guy with the members only jacket. I was like, you think you can fit me? Ha ha ha! He's got the glasses, everything, the huge glasses. He's got the slick back hair. I'm thinking this is the guy.
The sniper ski goggles.
This is the guy you would give him the silver chain and think, I'm gangster, ha 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 ha. It's like, And he's like the nerdy gangster. He's not even the guy like, you know, he's not the balding one. He's just a skinny nerdy one. He's like, this dude can't do anything. He's like Boris from like, I'm invincible from GoldenEye. This is the vibe I get from this guy. Oh. So so anyway, so those two are fighting, and like Luck is getting hurt. He's already injured as it is. You know, he's winning he's not really gaining any ground. You know, he gets strike to strike. This guy obviously is the elite master. He knocks him back. So we get a little bit of that. That interrupts my awesome fight, you know, that I'm watching with Cynthia Khan and then the guy in blue. Then we also got caught up onto the scene back where we have Michael versus Donnie Yen. That was kind of a weird fight too, because it was over within the instantly because he just knocked him over and the guy fell into the table down below. So I'm like, oh, he just murdered him. Okay. So Donnie Yen goes up to go untie the mom to get help her because on the rough, and here comes this big old dude, big old black guy.
Big black guy, and I couldn't find his name in time.
I'm looking. I'm trying to find his name, but
well, what I'll say about it, if you can find it or not, is fine. But I wrote down. I'm looking here at my notes because I just jotted down a few words and phrases and kind of talk off of them or whatever.
Is the guy's name?
I wrote down Peck Block because there's a scene where they're fighting, and I'm going, this guy's just blocking with his elbows, you know, tucked in or whatever like that, and Donnie Yen's trying everything. And I'm like, this guy would just kick the complete living shit out of Yen. And the guy's great. And really, Donnie Yen gets lucky. And I don't like this fight the way it finishes. I think it's a fantastic fight. This is like the second or third fight where we have, you know, people with the you know, fighting against each other, Mortal Kombat style, I should say. And you've got planes flying in the background, and you've got this nice depth too where they're fighting. It's really cool looking. But this dude is so jacked, but he's so good at fighting and punching. And I'm like, wow, the size difference is so noticeable here. Like, Donnie gets no chance at all. Donnie even goes to punch him, and they show the dude, you know, squeezing his pecs, literally. You know, he's got a muscle shirt on, so you don't quite see his nipples. But you see Donnie Yen's fist in the middle of the dude's pecs getting enveloped by the dude's chesticles. And it's just magnificent. I'm going, shit, this should be over, and it's not. Of course, but
this is Michael. It's just Michael Woods. I got confused with the other guy last time. The other guy doesn't. The dirt bike guy that doesn't have his own. Doesn't have his picture link, but these are Donnie Yen's friends. They're stunt workers work with him. So that's why they brought him into this crew. So they weren't really part of the D&B, but it's just Donnie Yen brought his own little crew. Anyway, so yeah. This guy, this basically looks like Mr. T on steroids, even bigger. And again, he's like, hey, you're gonna fight me, little boy. What you gonna do? Except the guy didn't talk much at all. He's like, you know, just, but he kept kicking.
It looks like Fred Williamson actually too.
Yeah, a little bit of Fred Williamson, you know, Action Jackson, bro.
Not Action Jackson. Action's too pretty.
but I thought I was actually a pretty decent fight scene towards, you know, but that one was really over the top. I was like, he got Donnie Yen's like, man, what does it take to put this guy down? This guy gets gumpy. He's like, ha ha ha, I'm gonna break you. You know, it's like, and like, the only way he finally defeats him is his guy's choking him, and he just flips him over, and the guy falls off the building. And
that thing here pissed me off because, okay, so yeah, Donnie's got the advantage in terms of volume of punches. This guy's just taking it. And here's the thing: when two people are fighting, right? If you and I are fighting, right, and we're the same weight, same skill level, whatever like that. Really, if I weigh 10 pounds more than you, I should win because it's going to be a little bit hard for you to bring me down just in terms of endurance. That's why little guys gas out quicker because, you know, they're pushing up against somebody that's bigger, and it's just an energy thing, right? So this guy took all this punishment early on. Donnie Yen really unleashed the beast on him, and yet then it seemed about halfway through that Donnie Yen was fresh as a daisy, and this guy was getting gassed because, you know, he's reaching for his punches and stuff, and Donnie takes advantage of it. But he gets him in a move that would choke anybody out in like 5 seconds. Donnie reverses it, but then Donnie does that straight up kick a couple times into his face, where I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. And I'm like, all right, how's he going to finish him now? And then, yeah, it just kind of flips the guy over, and it's great because you see this body flying off of a building, which is always cool. But it's like, that's it? I was expecting. I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting that.
So all this is going on, and Donnie Yen's basically fighting for his life. Down below, we got the boy in blue just got his ass kicked by a girl.
Yep.
She hears sword fighting going on over there in the other room. She quickly comes in and helps out Luck before he gets before he runs out of luck. They're fighting and stuff. It actually was a nice little wrapped up ending, though, apart from that disappointing fight scene with Donnie Yen. But I didn't. This movie was actually pretty good, pretty cool. Like I said, I liked it better than Yes, Madam. It was a little, as far as action scenes go. I mean, Yes, Madam had the really over the top villain. That's what I didn't like about that.
I loved it. Well, Johnny says I hear 3 and 4 get too theatrical compared to the others, and I haven't seen 3, but I do feel there's a sense of sensationalism here, theatricalness, a little bit. I still think it has all those hardcore Hong Kong action things into, like we talk about, people flipping, the glass breaking, the falling down, the tumbling. We get plenty of it. There's a lot of it. I do like it, but I would agree with Johnny that I definitely sense it in here, and I was a little disappointed with the ending fight. That being said, I don't want to take away from the fact that the action in here is fantastic. You know, the acting, the plot. Who cares? I mean, the characters aren't memorable enough where you really want to follow what's going on with it, because it's not a humorous film. There's not really too many one-liners or jokes or gags in it, which is good. I like that, actually.
I mean, Yes, Madam did have the 3 goofs in there, 3 guys in there.
Right.
Yes. That really helped that movie out. If Luck would have had another goof on here, more comedy in here, this movie would have been a little better. Like I said, it would have been more sense to have Jackie Chan in this movie, but I don't know why they didn't decide to go with somebody else, give someone else a chance. But it would have been awesome having Donnie Yen versus Jackie Chan, and Donnie Yen's like, "Wait, who are you hitting me? Stop hitting me!"
Yeah.
He mean. Oh, rubbing his head. Much better. But they didn't want to add humor to this movie.
Well, I kind of like the 80s feel of some of the films that we've covered before, because they feel like the 80s, and they have a little, almost like an internal, they're winking at you saying, okay, we know what we are, but we're going to do it really good anyway. Whereas this one definitely feels like it's probably a 1990 film, even though it was a 1989 film, because like I say, the dress wasn't there. The 80s bad guys weren't there. Yeah, the typical boss level baddie guys were there. The obviously America as evil guys affecting us in the Hong Kong film is present, because at the end when a guy falls over and dies or whatever, the CIA bad dude, they take the American flag and drape it over him. I'm like, okay, I can see why they did that. That doesn't offend me. I get it. I see what you're doing there, Chi-Coms. It doesn't take away from the film and the fact that the action really is fantastic in here.
So I'm reading over Cynthia Khan saying, yeah, she did jazz and dance in elementary school and all that. She says, yeah, she did. She was a TV star and stuff. She didn't really do that martial arts. So when they sped it up, it didn't really speed it up for her, but she was able to grasp it, and actually, it's a dance move, doing ballet and all that stuff, jazz dance stuff.
Right.
So and she is limber. She still does her own fitness stuff and stuff. So it was actually kind of nice that she actually was able to pick it up. Not being someone who's like Michelle Yao, who's actually been like doing this forever and actually has like won some awards and stuff.
Yeah, certainly don't mind an athletic woman.
You don't notice it all. So the next movie after this, and I was looking at it, is going to be, I believe it's Forbidden Arsenal. That's the next one, number 5. So, which came out in 91. So if we did continue with that, I do have a copy of that. I mean, even if we don't do it, I'll personally continue with the series.
We were doing Girls with Guns. We wanted to throw in a Donnie Yen, so we'll see what we come with next. But I think we'll be doing a few more Asian cinema ones for a couple more weeks at least, just to flesh out if that was an area that we've been wanting to do too. Yeah. So, all right, looking at the time and everything, looks like we're pretty much wrapped up here. My final thoughts are: I think it's a good film with great action pieces. Definitely worth watching, and not just for Donnie Yen. He doesn't carry the film to me. He's solid in it. There's a lot of other great supporting things in there too, and some creative stuff in there too. So to me, it's like a thumbs up. What about you, RDV?
Like you said, this was a Donnie Yen voice, but it happened to be part of the movie, and people were like, "We want more Donnie Yen," because we only did Ip Man and Ip Man 2, I think. If we even did review the second one, I can't remember. It's been a while. But dude, no, this is the best. I've ever had fun with this. You know, watching girls kick crap out of guys and making fun of them. You know, it's and I think it's 80s too. It really helps a lot. 80s, just Hong Kong martial arts. That's one of the reasons why I like Jackie Chan. Also, back when he was just doing the Sammo Hung movies stuff. It gets worse where he's doing what he's doing now. I liked him in the police, the cop stuff.
Yep.
You know, I'm not into this whole feudal Japan era stuff. Like some people are into, but no, I love action. I love girls. I love guns. I love martial arts, and I love the 80s. So what else do you want?
Yeah, we'll see how this plays out in the 90s and 2000s and all that too. But yeah, we'll see what happens with it. I definitely like it. I've got down there. No retreat, no surrender's been on the short list, Johnny. We definitely have been talking about doing that because JCVD is one of our favorites. So we'll see how that goes with it. But that's like I say on the short list, and we'll see how it goes. We haven't even talked about Scott Adkins or anybody else either, too. So want to thank everybody for showing up, listening. Guys, I just want to say thanks, too, for the people that, retweet and share things out, too. I've had a few people on Twitter kind of reach out later, make comments, and I'm like, oh, that's cool because I have a very small following, and we've definitely been trying to advertise like crazy. And I think the martial arts in general is very popular with people. We get a lot of people from Asia, Philippines, that area. And then, of course, some old school people that really love this stuff are really into it. And you guys are picking up on it. LK, I know you'd seen it. So that's pretty awesome. So I certainly appreciate that. I'd like to thank RVD for showing up tonight. As always, guys, thanks for listening. Stay extreme. Good night.
Good night, everybody.